Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudhlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu alla ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du. Dear Honorable Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MED, PhD, as the Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable Dr. Suyatno, MPDI, as the first Vice Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable Dr. Anis Susanti, MPDBI, as the second Vice of Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, as the head of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable Hani Irawati, MPD, as the Secretaries of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable our speakers, Mr. Thomas Diquito, PhD candidate from University of Mindanao Digos, Philippines, and Mr. Irvan Yunianto, PhD from Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The respectable our moderator, Mr. Nurifai Ahsan, MPD, from Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
Then, all of the participants, the student of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University, and the committees whom we loved.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that's given to us. The first of all, we thank to our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Salawat and salam, we praise to our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his family, his friend, and all of his followers will.
Ladies and gentlemen, previously, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Ahmad Muharram Habibi, and my partner,
Nafa Naili Fauzia,
as the Master of Ceremony, who will lead a joint seminar between Mindanao Digos, Philippines, and Biology Education Department of Ahmad, Dahlan, University, with the theme
Climate Change, Impact, and Mitigation toward Sustainable Development. On the nice occasion, let me deliver the structure of the agenda today. The first, opening ceremony.
The second agenda is recitation of the Holy Quran.
The third, singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya, Sang Surya, and Mars UAD.
The fourth agenda is welcoming speech from Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, as the head of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
And then, welcome speech from Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MED, PhD, as the Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Ahmad, Dahlan, University, and open the event.
The next agenda is keynote speech from Mr. Thomas Diquito, PhD candidate from University of Mindanao Digos, Philippines, and Mr. Irvan Yunianto, PhD from Ahmad, Dahlan, University.
The next, symboling handling over of gift from Biology Education Department.
Taking picture together, and
finally, closing ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be open this agenda by saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The next agenda is the recitation of the Holy Quran, which will be delivered by Arbi Fatih Al-Firdaus. To Arbi, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa huwal ladzi anzala minas samaa'i maa'a fa akhrajna bihi nabata kulli syai'in fa akhrajna minhu khadiran nukhriju minhu habban mutarakiba wa minan nakhli min tal'iha qinwanun daniyatun wa jannatin min a'nabin waz-zaytuna war-rummana mushtabihan wa ghayra mutasyabih unzuru ila thamarihi idza athmara wa yan'ih inna fi dzalikum laayat.
National Anthem of Indonesia Raya, Sang Surya and Mars UAD. We ask to all the participants to stand up.
Kepada para hadirin dipersilakan untuk berdiri.
Sana Universitas Ahmad, mengemban amanah mulia, siapkan insan cendekiawan, binakan pembaharuan, berilmu dan beramal soleh, berperan dalam membangun umat, Quran dan hadis jadi pedoman. Sivitas akademika, mengemban tugas bersama, singsikan dengan maju serta masyarakat siap berani. Tunjukkanlah karya dan talantimu, kembangkan teknologi, majulah kau adik demi nusa bangsa, Indonesia sejahtera. Amat Universitas Ahmad, mengemban amanah mulia, siapkan insan cendekiawan, binakan pembaharuan, berilmu dan beramal soleh, berperan dalam membangun umat, Quran dan hadis jadi pedoman. Sivitas akademika, mengemban tugas bersama, singsikan dengan maju serta masyarakat siap berani. Tunjukkanlah karya dan talantimu, kembangkan teknologi, majulah kau adik demi nusa bangsa, Indonesia sejahtera.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a seat please.
Kepada para hadirin dipersilakan untuk duduk kembali.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is welcome speech from Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, as the head of study program of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University. Now, we invite Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, as the head of study program of Biology Education Department, Ahmad, Dahlan, University, to give a first speech. To Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'du. I will sit and bilingual maybe. The Honorable Bapak Muhammad Sayuti MPD, MED, PhD, the Dean of Faculty of Teacher Training of Education, Universitas Ahmad, Dahlan. The Honorable Mr. Thomas Digito, our guest lecturer today from Universitas of Mindanao, Philippines. The Honorable Mr. Irfan Yunianto, PhD, our lecturer, in Biology Education Department Universitas Ahmad, Dahlan. And the moderator, Bapak Rifai Ahsan, thank you Pak Rifai. And all the lecturers, students, and all the participants of our joint seminar today. First of all, let's give thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us health and opportunity so that we can attend this today event. Salawat and salam we give to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the family. Okay, I'm nervous. Okay, I think this seminar is the first international seminar for all the students in Biology Education Department, with the theme the theme is in line with our vision. Climate change is something that we feel the impact of right now, daily. The shifting of season and natural disaster are the example of climate change impact for us. Efforts must be made to prevent it because as humanity we must maintain sustainable life. Jadi adik-adik semua, masalah perubahan iklim itu masalah yang harus kita hadapi bersama, gitu ya. Jadi dalam acara hari ini kita dapat berdiskusi bersama, mendengarkan paparan dari Mr. Thomas dan juga Pak Irfan untuk kita mengulas masalah ini. Biology Education Department Universitas Ahmad is very concerned about this because it's in line with our vision of developing environmental based learning and technology with eco-pedagogical approach based on Islamic values for the welfare and mankind. Jadi tema ini sangat sesuai, inline dengan visi kita untuk mengembangkan pembelajaran berbasis lingkungan dan teknologi. Dijiwai nilai-nilai Islami untuk kemaslahatan umat manusia. Jadi harapannya acara ini memang benar-benar memperkuat pemahaman kita tentang visi prodi kita. We welcome to Mr. Thomas and thanks for your attend today for our joint seminar, who has been willing that join the be speaker in this event today. Okay, I think welcome to Yogyakarta, Mr. Thomas, the cultural and the student university in Indonesia. Welcome to Campus 4 Universitas Ahmad Dahlan. I hope you we will make another collaboration, maybe in research collaboration or publication collaboration or maybe student exchange. Adik-adik mau nggak ke Filipina? Mau, ya. Mungkin besok kita akan mengadakan pertukaran pelajar. Jadi harus pinter bahasa Inggris, jangan seperti saya ini ya. Jadi masih karena jarang digunakan itu kadang-kadang ngomongnya masih belibet gitu ya. Okay, lastly, I will thanks to the Mr. Indro Prastowo, Pak Indro, ya, and all the committee, Mbak Nafa, Mas Habibi, Mas Arbi, and all the committee that bisa mengadakan acara ini dalam waktu singkat dengan sangat baik. Oke, thanks to all for attend this our event today. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the next agenda is welcome speech from Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MD, PhD, as the Dean of the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Ahmad Dahlan University, and open the event. Now, we invite Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MD, PhD, to give a second speech. To Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MD, PhD, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukrulillah wa la hawla wa la quwata illa billah. Allahumma sholli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yaumiddin. First of all, I want to extend a warm welcome to our guest, Mr. Thomas Diguito, PhD candidate, our respected guest from University of Mindanao at Digos. Adik-adik tahu nggak Mindanao? Hah? Belum pernah ke sana? Sama berarti ya. Mindanao itu di Filipina Selatan. Jadi kalau mau ke Bunaken dekat. Apalagi kalau biologi biasa berenang, ya dari Bunaken berenang ke Mindanao. Swimming from North Sulawesi to Mindanao. Thank you also for biology education, Dr. Novi, and then lecturers, Prof. Triani, ya, Prof. Irfan, amin ya, dan all the lecturer and student of biology education of Ahmad Dahlan. Kita sangat senang pada pagi hari ini karena UAD sebagai kampus besar di Yogyakarta, Indonesia, bisa menyelenggarakan joint seminar. Ini bagian dari kedatangan mahasiswa dari Filipina also beberapa kali ke sini untuk program C Teacher. C itu bukan see you see me ya, or I see you. Southeast Asia Teacher Exchange, jadi teman-temanmu ada yang mengajar di Filipina dan di Thailand, dan ada juga mahasiswa dari Filipina datang ke Jogja untuk pengalaman mengajar di sini. Saya kira ini sangat penting adik-adik, karena itu tantangan Bu Novi tadi penting untuk disambut. Banyak gini yang bisa ngajar dalam bahasa Indonesia, saya kira banyak ya. Tapi kalau ngajarnya bahasa Inggris, gimana? Pede nggak? Hah? Belum pede ya. Padahal masa depan adik-adik itu tidak di Jogja, tidak di Kulon Progo, di Bantul ya. Masa depanmu itu di tempat-tempat yang jauh. Pernah saya sampaikan, Australia sedang kekurangan guru. Dan gajinya sebulan itu berapa? Kalau 70.000 setahun, sebulan berapa? 6.000 dolar, 60 juta sebulan. Gaji rektor aja kalah ya. Nah, apalagi gaji dekan. Jadi Australia sedang shortage ya, sedang butuh guru, banyak sekali yang dibutuhkan. Sementara di Indonesia kurang atau lebih? Hah? Ya kalau ke Papua kurang banyak, kalau ke IKN kurang banyak. Jadi jangan cari jadi guru di Bantul ya, di kampungnya Bu Novi sana di Jambi atau di Kalimantan atau di Papua kebutuhannya masih banyak. Ya. Jadi kesempatan untuk belajar ya. Nanti kalau Pak Irfan presentasinya Pak Thomas in English berapa persen yang bisa ditangkap? Kalau saya deliver my speak in English nggak bisa guyu toh, nggak bisa tertawa ya, nggak tahu lucunya di mana ya. Karena itu sekali lagi anggap ini pemanasan ya adik-adik sebelum nanti masuk ke dunia global yang ada di hadapan Anda. So our respected guest UAD is one of the 172 university or tertiary institution under the Muhammadiyah, the thing we sang recently. So this is one of 172. We have around 56 department in this campus with students around 25,000. Yeah, 25,000 and mostly paying the tuition ya, not free loh. Ya, jadi adik-adik bayar SPP kan? Ya, adik-adik kasih makan kita ini Bu ya. So we established in 1960. So around 63 years old now, and then this is the one of the 6 campuses. So when you going to the airport, you will see again another campus in your left on the way to airport. So welcome to Jogja, welcome to Ahmad Dahlan. Jogja is educational hub. So people, students all over Indonesia coming to Jogja for study. So when you stay in Jogja, you might find our students from Papua with quite dark skin, also people from Aceh, people from Kalimantan, all over Indonesia. So insya Allah visiting Jogja is sufficient to see Indonesia. Yes, because we are educational hub. Been long time ago since the independence of Indonesia. So we'll come to Jogja and then expecting to have closer collaboration in the future between pendidikan biologi, biology education, also University of Mindanao, as mentioned by Dr. Novi, lecturer exchange. So we are waiting for your invitation. Invitation with the ticket or no? No, I think Mr. Irfan invitation is enough because he can find another financial support from Ahmad Dahlan or from other sources. So we are looking forward for invitation, also expecting that our student can come to your university also because Mindanao is close. Jadi di Filipina itu adik-adik banyak bahasanya yang mirip sama bahasa Indonesia. Ya. Termasuk number. Jadi angka itu banyak mirip ya. So very similar. So 4 itu di sana opat. Say 4, is it 4 opat? Ya, jadi sama ya. Jadi banyak kemiripan, nggak usah khawatir. Filipina hanya nyebrang 1 lemparan batu ya. So terima kasih sekali lagi all the speaker, Pak Dr. Irfan, Mr. Thomas Dikuito, dan seluruh organizing committee dan mahasiswa. Enjoy the joint seminar. Mari kita awali bersama dengan melafadzkan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kurang lebihnya mohon maaf. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Mr. Muhammad Sayuti, MPD, MED, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is to deliver academic speech by keynote speakers that will be guided by our moderator, Mr. Nurifai Aksan, MED from Ahmad Dahlan University. But before that, let us introduce Mr. Nurifai Aksan, MED first. He is a lecturer at Ahmad Dahlan University, especially in the English Language Education Department.
He was the best graduate of the University of Wollongong, Australia. Currently, he serves as the Director of Creative Economy and Tourism Study Center at Ahmad Dahlan University and an assessor in tourism at LSP Jana Dharma, Indonesia. Now, we invite Mr. Nurifai Ahsan MED to guide this session. To Mr. Nurifai Ahsan MED, time is yours.
How many microphones do we have? 3? Because we have 3 people on the stage. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we start our serious sessions, I would like to give and deliver special heritage for our country, especially for Mr. Thomas. Yeah. who is not coming from our country. That is pantun. As usual, you have to say cakep ya. Okay. You ready? Handsome. Cakep tadi handsome, oke. Okay. Minum cola sambil makan jahe. Sorry, kebalik nggak apa-apa ya, ini kan yang pantun ya. Ulangi ya. Minum cola sambil makan jahe. Biologi keren jayalah, wadi. As it is very spontaneous pantun, so I make it short. Sorry. Because making 4 lines will think a lot. Alright, before we start, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable, our guest today, the Dean, Mr. Lupa Pak saya, Pak. Mr. Sayuti, and also Mr. Sayuti, and also the head of Biology Education Department, Bu Novi, and also all the invited guests, especially the distinguished speakers from Mindanao, Mr. Thomas, and our from local international speaker, local international competent speaker, Mr. Irfan Yunianto. He stays in close to my office, but we never meet each other every day. Yeah? When I come in, he is out. It's happened all the time. And also our most distinguished and reputable participants in this room. Big applause for all the participants. I'm Rifai, completely not Rifai Asan. I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. With the big theme is climate change, also the climate change impact and the mitigations for anticipating these impacts. And we have a special guest from the University of Mindanao Digos, ya. Mindanao Digos, and also, Mr. Thomas Junior A. Dikito. Because officially in the CV there is a Junior Dikito. I give you the complete name. So which one you like, this one or the CV one? The CV one. Thomas Junior Dikito, and also Mr. Irfan Yunianto. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very great honor for me to be moderator here by taking the very strategic topic that is about climate change impact and also the mitigations. Before we invite the speakers to come forward, I would like to give you a general overview of the impacts of the climate change. For example, the rise of the offshore lines, and also of wildfires, the heat temperatures. If you feel like today you feel very hot, although you are bathing for 3 times a day, but still feeling hot, this not because your water is not clean, but because it is the impact of climate change. Also, when in Yogyakarta, we until now the rain is still like cat and dog raining. It's not really serious raining. It's only 10 minutes short rain, for example. I think that's because of climate change. And the most terrible thing is, do you know what is the most terrible thing of the impacts of climate change? Do you know it? When the temperature is getting heater and the world is getting hot, I'm afraid that the most disastrous and dangerous impact of climate change is the emerging of walking deads, zombie. Because this why I like watching zombie, and I remember maybe why the zombie happened emerging because maybe one impact of climate change. Okay, so if we want to prevent and avoid the emergence of the walking dead zombie, we need to listen to the material from Mr. Thomas and also Mr. Irfan. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite them, I want to give you the rules of our seminar today. First, we will invite both of the speaker, and the speaker will have 25 minutes for your delivery. It's very short. I know maybe you need a lot, but we will continue further in the discussion. And the first chance will be given to Mr. Thomas. The second will be to Mr. Irfan. After both of the speakers presenting their materials, it will be followed by QA or discussions for 25 minutes as well. This is, for me, the shortest seminar I ever experienced. It's only 60 minutes for the whole session. Very and very effective and efficient. Okay, without further ado, we will invite our speakers today. Pick up applause for the first, Mr. Thomas Dikito. You can take your seats there. Not the mic, only the seats. And also we invite the second speaker from UAD, Mr. Irfan Yunianto. All right, we gave preparation time for Mr. Thomas. Anytime you're ready, you can let us know. But before we are listening to presentation by Mr. Thomas, allow me to read his curriculum vitae for the short details. Operator, please show the CV. Mr. Thomas, his name is Mr. Thomas Dikito. Okay, it's unreadable. It's okay. This is if you get minus eyes, it's problematic. But if you have plus eyes, it's okay. Never mind. And I have the plus eyes then. He is the teacher in the faculty of University of Mindanao, Digos, in the Digos city, Davao del Sur, Philippines. The latest education of him is postgraduate PhD candidate in Department of Research Administrations in the University of Southeastern Philippines. If we look at his CV on short course completed, he is very professional and very well experienced in urban planning and also design thinking. If you know, design thinking is very complicated, dynamic method of research and also very interesting because it will have very systematic stages. If you want to know, you can ask Mr. Mr. Thomas about design thinking and also urban planning. And he has a full experience in any level of studies, starting from teacher in high school, and then teacher in college, and the last is associate professor in the University of Mindanao, Digos. If you not know unfamiliar with the Mindanao location, you can check in the Google Map. Yeah? In the Google Map, and he has his best achievement. One of his best achievement is he won the second best research presented during the first Asian Society of Researchers, Educators, and Innovations in July 2023. I think 4 months ago. Big applause to Mr. Thomas. You know, I joined in many conferences but never win the competition. Yeah? So it's very reputable achievement, I think. And you can see his contacts. I don't know why he doesn't have Instagram account and also Twitter. Maybe he doesn't like social media. Yeah? He's not fond of popular person, maybe. You know, these two accounts are very popular in Indonesia. If you have the social Twitter and Instagram, I can add you in my followers if you have it.
Hello.
Okay. Without further ado, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, let's send big applause to Mr. Thomas Dikito. Mr. Thomas, you have 25 minutes to deliver your presentations. Time is yours now.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, good morning, everyone. So, Selamat pagi. Okay. So, thank you. So, actually, I'm very excited today to deliver speech to the students or learners of the biology program and as well as the faculty members of the biology program. So, yeah, my topic is all about the climate change, the perspectives from the Philippines. So, why this topic? It's because in the current context, climate change is somehow one of the most important issues that we should address. I don't know in Indonesia what are the mitigation processes and adaptation mechanism, but today I will share to you the perspectives coming from the Philippines. Okay, so it's I guess for us also, for you also to have knowledge what are the practices that we've done in our country. Okay, so next slide please. Okay, so before we proceed with our discussion, so let me introduce first my country, the Philippines. So the Philippines comprises of around 7,000 islands. When I Googled the number of islands in Indonesia this morning, so it is around 18,000 or 17,000 islands. So the highest number when it comes to islands, no, the Indonesia. And the total land area of the Philippines is 300,000 square meters with 3 main island groups located Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So the Luzon is located in the northern part of the region, while Visayas in the middle, and Mindanao, the southern part of the region. So I'm from the Mindanao, which is located in the southern part of the region. So don't you know that in Mindanao, the population there is, when it comes to culture, around 60 to 50% are Muslims. So that is why when we arrived last Monday, so we've noticed that it's the same with our in our area. So unlike in the Luzon, wherein majority of the populations there are Catholic and other religion. So in Mindanao, so when you go there, so you can see a lot of Muslims there. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the map of the Philippines, Malaysia, and other neighboring countries. So the Philippines and Malaysia is somehow close, no? So that is why some of our cultures and traditions maybe are the same, especially in the Muslims' traditions and customs. When I go to the museum as well last day, so when I watch the presentations as well as the discussions, so we are amazed, and somehow we can attest that the history is somehow the same with our in our area, which is in Mindanao. Okay, so next slide please. Okay, so going back to our topic, the climate change, the perspective from the Philippines. So our island or our countries is almost identical. So we are made up of number of islands, hundreds or thousands of islands. And climate change is one of those area or subject that we should address, not today, but for the future as well. Okay, so, and climate change is one of the goal of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And in the Philippines, especially in the higher education institution, we should help the Philippines in addressing these 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So number 13 there is the climate action. So that is why climate change is one of the hottest issues when it comes to environment. Okay, so next slide please. So what is climate change? So according to IPCC, climate change in IPCC usage refers to a change in the state of the climate that can be identified using the statistical test by changes in the mean or the variability of its properties, and that persists for an extended period, typically decade or longer. So it's different compared to the term weather. So technically, climate is the mean score or average like for 10 years or maybe 20 years or 15 years. So next slide, please. Okay, so in our country, specifically in the temperature aspect, So as you've noticed here, like from 1955 to 2010, so there no data at the moment for 2011 to 2023 because they monitor the climate for 30 years. So based from the data itself, the temperature, there is an increase in terms of temperature in the Philippines. From 1995, with a difference of 0.4, in 2010, there is a sudden increase of the temperature. And technically, the Philippines and Indonesia, I guess it's the same temperature. So if it's warm here, it's warm also in the Philippines. No, so it's like a twin country or countries. No, it's the same. Okay, so next slide, please. So why should we care about the climate change? Okay, so this is our main topic. Okay, so first, okay, so hotter days. Okay, so as you've noticed, it is much warmer today compared before. No, so like what my mother said or my father said that before the climate before is not that hot, no, or warm. But now it's too much hot, no, or warm. So hotter days. In the Philippines, last November 14, 2023, recorded in Aurora, which is in Luzon, lagged the highest ever heat index with around 60 degrees Celsius. So imagine that temperature, around 60 degrees Celsius. So the boiling point of water is 100 degree. And we exceeded a half of that 100 degrees Celsius. And during that time, in Mindanao part, around 50 to 40 degrees Celsius, there are many students collapsed in their classroom. Like 1 week suspension of classes in the Philippines. Because there are many students collapsed, not just students, but teachers as well, and other people. No? So that's the impact of the hotter days in the Philippines. And by August 11 and 12 as well, the same area received around 59 degrees Celsius, while in Mindanao during that time, around 50 to 40 degrees Celsius. And I guess it's similar in Indonesia, the temperature, you know, it's hotter. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so in Mindanao, we experience El Nino. And I guess we are familiar with El Nino. So we're in, there's no water like the river in our area. So no water in the river, even in the lakes, small water only. And the plants somehow died during that time. And there is a famine in our area. So actually, there is a chaos in some of the areas in the Philippines during that time. Around in 2015. And during that time as well, there is a record of different diseases like malaria and dengue. So we know that dengue and malaria, or dengue is more on a airborne disease carried by mosquito. And these mosquitoes can live in the water or breathe in the water, right? But why is it that there is dengue during that time? That's the question. It's because of improper management of water. Like the people, because of there is no or lack of water, they store polar ice caps, or because of the global warming, the polar ice caps somehow will melt and turn into water. No, so because of this, there is a sudden rising sea level, and the Philippines is one of those countries that has an impact when it comes to rising sea level. So next slide, please. So in this data, in this figure, this is the map of Mindanao, and we are located, if I may, here. So this is our area, Digos. And in this map, it shows the vulnerability map, wherein the red color or orange color in the map is the highest area in Mindanao. And based from the projection, if the planet will undergo the changes, so the blue or green color in Mindanao somehow will become water areas. So us in Digos, maybe 50 years from now or 30 years from now, so no land, so more on water, no? So maybe we will become a mermaid or etc. So we will adjust, okay? So next slide, please. Okay, so next is this picture. So this is the recent impact of the climate change in the Philippines. This town or this city before is a land, with houses and etc. But for 5 years only or 10 years only, so it become water area. So it is one of the impact of the impact of the climate change in the Philippines. So the households there somehow evacuated, and some of the inhabitants of that area somehow stay or remain in that area. But the problem is the diseases, especially the area is in somehow watery area, no? So and no food as well. So that's the problem when it comes to the climate change or impacts of climate change in the Philippines. So next slide, please. So more frequent and intense extreme weather in the Philippines. So there are many cyclones in the Philippines, no? So if you visit in the Philippines during the monsoon season or the cyclone season, so there are many deadly cyclones in the Philippines because of our location. And because of the more warmer days or hotter days, so we can really expect that there are many deadly typhoons coming from the Philippines, no? So last 2012, we recorded one of the deadliest typhoon in the Philippines, and that is Yolanda. So have you heard Yolanda before? Yolanda. Okay, so the name of that typhoon in the Philippines is Yolanda. Okay, so next slide, please. So the Yolanda, or 2013, sorry, that 2013 Yolanda. So it cost around 5.8 billion lost in the Philippines. And there are many people somehow who are missing. Actually, the number of casualties there in 2013 is somehow vague, and different authors argued based on the numbers of casualties, no? So we don't know the actual casualties during that time. And seeing this data, we can say that there are many deadly typhoons coming from the Philippines because of the hotter days or warmer climate. And aside from that, the damage as well, especially in monetary value, somehow become prevalent and increasing. Like, for example, households, destructions of households and government properties and farm and etc. So those are some of the impacts of the climate change in the Philippines. So next slide. Okay, so impact to health. So one of the things that the climate change brought to the Philippines is the airborne diseases, since we are a tropical country. And these airborne diseases can somehow affect the life of the people living in our area. So not just the airborne diseases, but including the like heart attack and many more. So actually, in the recent study, there are new diseases in the Philippines that somehow are rising. And before, the main issue is the COVID-19, which is the deadliest among, no? So but some of my students in science, so they suspected that some of those diseases are not related to COVID. And now, in 2023, their hypothesis is somehow correct. And I really admire the thinking of my students because they are really advanced. No, when it comes. By the way, my students, some of my students in biology or science actually are Muslims, and they are very, very smart. To tell you honestly, they are very, very smart. And last year, last graduation, the highest distinction, which is the summa cum laude, I don't know the highest distinction here, summa cum laude, is a Muslim, and that is from the science program. And I am really amazed with the performance of that student. No, so actually, when I go to the museum, I told mom that I will tell my students that they will come here in Yogyakarta and visit the museum. No, okay. So next slide, please. So loss of biodiversity. No, so there are many impacts when it comes to biodiversity, losses of biodiversity. So one of that is because of the acidification, the ocean becomes acidic, and fishes and other natural resources are being destroyed because of this impact. Okay, so aside from that, there are cyclones and forest fires and many more that could disrupt our biodiversity. Okay, so next slide, please. So what are the initiatives of the Philippine government in response to climate change? Okay, so let me share this one first. When I arrived here in Yogyakarta, in the international airport, I've noticed that there is a sign there, or billboard, I guess, in the airport about the planting trees and etc. And I'm very amazed because in our area, in Digo City, we don't have that, no? So I will try to tell my colleagues there to, yeah. And when we go to our hotel, like in the route during during our what do you call that one? But there are many signages. Even in our hotel, there are many what do you call this? Initiatives, like if this towel is still okay, so you can reuse it because every day they will change the towel and the bed sheets and etc. So we follow the order, no, from the hotel. So those are the initiatives coming from the Indonesia, and I learned from that. No, so I will tell my colleagues and during the discussion as well, because I'm teaching environmental science in the Philippines. No, so I will share that experience here in Indonesia. No, so kudos to the Indonesian government for that initiatives. Okay, so next slide, please. First is the creation of the Climate Change Commission. So this is one of the breakthrough in the in terms of climate change initiatives in the Philippines. We established the Climate Change Commission. This is a branch of the government wherein the role of this branch is to monitor and at the same time to create different initiatives in terms of the climate change, including as well environmental literacy and many more. So next slide, please. Next is the integration to curriculum. So we integrated climate change to our instruction. So in the basic education, it is part of the most essential learning competencies, wherein the start of that integration is in, I guess, in grade 4 level, grade 5, grade 4 to grade 5, until grade 10, 11, and 12. In higher education, so next slide, please. In higher education, part of our courses or general education courses is the science, technology, and society, as well as elective, which is environmental science. So though there are many initiatives like this one, integration of climate change, environmental education, and etc., but based from our different researches, we found out that there there is something when it comes to literacy, no, literacy, environmental literacy, and etc. And that is a silver lining for us instructors or teachers in the near future. How can we improve our pedagogy, teaching strategies, and strategies to relate to our students, no, how to teach climate change and environmental literacy, no, in order for us to become environmental literate, no? So that is something that is a silver lining, which is it's very hard for us, no, to teach this one, because it really needs a conceptual understanding. So last day, ma'am, I forgot the name of ma'am, asked about the problem-based learning. Yes, problem-based learning, and ma'am also share her insights about the climate change and environmental literacy. And we can hopefully that in the near future we can collaborate. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, so it's more on the problem-based learning. It should be the teaching climate change and environmental education as my perspective. It should be a problem-based learning. Okay, so next, number 3, research grants. So in the Philippines, there are many grants or funds, especially if your study or your thesis, dissertation, it dwells on the climate change, environmental education, creating sustainability, and etc. So last 2019, one of the biggest fund or grant is $10 million. So imagine that amount of money for one research only. So $10 million, no, USA. So it's very big amount, no? So the Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines as well offers many grants and funds if your study is all about creating technology that could maybe monitor the progress of the climate change and many more. Okay, so that is for the grants. So next, number 4 is priority areas in the higher education. The higher education in the Philippines play a crucial role in terms of technology transfer and education. In our university, the University of Mindanao, we have here the research priority areas, wherein our students, our students there, they have this thesis. No, thesis, there is thesis also. Okay, thesis. Thesis and dissertation, no? So for the doctoral program or postgraduate program. So the research of our students must align to this core areas. So we have 3 core areas. First is environment. Second is disaster management. And third is agriculture-related studies. So every thesis of our students, or even not just our students, but for us, faculty members, should align to these priority areas. Like environment, creating sustainable projects, and etc. Environmental literacy, and many more. But the problem of this is in the form of in the language program, in the mathematics program, and many other programs. In science program, it's very easy for us to conduct a proposal or to create sustainability in the country. Combating the impacts of climate change in the context of the Philippines requires fundings and collaboration among various stakeholders, either in local or international level. In addition, the Philippines also focuses on increasing the literacy rate towards climate change among the inhabitants by integrating environment-related competencies in the educational curriculum. So that would be all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for wonderful and insightful presentation from Mr. Thomas for sharing information about how the government of Philippines tried to cope with the problems of climate change. I note here from Indonesian government, how many points of the strategies? 5 points? I think it's 5.
5.
4. 5. Yeah, I checked in internet. We also have 5. The same. That's what we call twin countries. Yeah. You have 5. We also have 5. Okay, Mr. Thomas, in the first session already spoken about climate changes and strategies in the perspective of Philippines, and now we will continue by listening from the Indonesian perspective from Mr. Irfan Yunianto. However, before we are listening to him, we would like to have a mood booster to challenge and to anticipate and to be also live happily in mitigating the impacts of climate changes. Happiness is one of our weapons to face the problems. Especially, terus, in Indonesia we have ompong. You know ompong? Yeah, ompong means toothless here. No tooth anymore. Yeah, some of us already in the process of that way. But, actually, it's not really dangerous. In Philippines, ompong is much more dangerous. It's kind of typhoon ompong, yeah. Yeah, typhoon ompong. Okay, for give us the power of fighting against impacts of climate changes, we need to energize and we need to create good energy for our stamina and body. Everyone stand up. Please stand up on your place. If you want, you can also stand up as well. Everyone stand up, and we have to be happy and move our body. Yes, it's different. Okay, operator, are you ready? Oh, wait a minute. With my signals. Okay. One way to be healthy and fight against climate changes is we have to be happy and healthy. Okay, and now we will show our happiness by showing one of our heritage, Taman Curug dance. Okay, I know maybe some of you are not really familiar, but you can dance as you like Jagger. Okay, operator, please, Taman Curug dance.
Sasat gowo kendeng tresno banyu pengawan sinoro cahyane rembulan lir sewu tian alera buka kenangan.
Do you want more? Oh, one more, Mas. There is no such kind of typhoon in Philippines. Thomas like it? Okay. One more. Ready? Again, if you cannot dance, dance as you like, dance like Jagger.
Sasat gowo kendeng tresno banyu pengawan sinoro cahyane rembulan lir sewu tian alera buka kenangan.
Hey, big applause for everyone. Yes. Again, big applause for everyone for Taman Curug dance. There's the risk of inviting moderator as the entertainer as well. Okay, are you feeling fresh and ready for the second round now? Okay. Before we start, again, we should not agree with the emerging of zombie. So say no to zombie. Say no to zombie. No zombie. Sorry, I'm addicted with zombie. Before, allow me to read. Do you know? Is there any zombie in Davao? In Philippines? Not yet. Not yet. Okay. For admin operator, please show the CV from Mr. Irfan. Mr. Irfan is one of the lecturer in English education? No, sorry. Biology education department in UAD. He was born on Meketan 9 June 1981. He's got a lot of experiences in the education, and last time he was graduated from, he already finished his PhD scholarships from LPDP. Big applause for Mr. Irfan. Why I asked you to do so? Because I know I tried to apply LPDP, but not successful yet. It's very hard to receive the as a recipient of LPDP scholarships. So I have to learn a lot from Mr. Irfan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now let's complete our knowledge about mitigation and also impact of climate changes by listening to the presentation by Mr. Irfan. Mr. Irfan, you've got 25 minutes to go. Please go ahead. Do you want to start with Taman Curug dance again? No.
I'm not much of an entertainer, but I hope that I can do something else.
Right.
So before giving my talk, can I just ask permission to deliver my talk by standing up?
Yeah, sure.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to do stand-up comedy. And I'm not gonna roast anybody here.
Stand-up, not comedy.
Yes, stand-up, not comedy. Maybe it's just to release my tension. I'm not sure it is getting colder here, or is it just me because I'm starting to be so nervous? All right, because it's already 9:30 and it is usually for a coffee break time, but since there is no coffee at all here, and thankfully, during my talk, I used to move a lot, and don't be surprised if in the middle of my talk, I would be outside, okay? All right, so actually, Sir Thomas here already described many things. I think it's a complete aspects about the climate change and why this is really important. This is one of the core topic that is being discussed worldwide. And even if you saw the news yesterday, our president, Mr. Jokowi, he met Joe Biden, President of the United States, and apart from the talk about the proposing of the ceasefire in Palestine, Jokowi has also discussed about the climate change issue. Again, so this is the proof that climate change is very crucial issue for us. Not only to understand, but also to make a mitigation, to make a real action, how to deal with this climate change before it gets too late, before we are having the serious impact for us, right? So, and I chose this topic specifically, its effect on human physiology. Well, eventually, the effects of the climate change, especially the, regarding the temperature, the rising temperatures, which have the direct effect on us, on our health, but maybe it's just an excuse for me to avoid any, questions regarding the clinical aspects, because I'm not a clinician, right? But we can still discuss as long as it is still related with the human physiology. Yes, next please. Right, so as you may have been aware, the climate change is definition. So it refers to the long-term shift in the temperatures and weather patterns. So it's not always about the rising of the temperature, but it can also refer to the lowering of the temperatures. And many of us, and mostly what we are experiencing in our daily life is the up and downs of the temperature. Sometimes it happens in a short term, but the climate change refers to the long term of the shift of the climate itself. And it can be natural actually when it is caused by an external factor like the sun's activity, large volcanic eruption, and also the extraplanetary objects like the comet or maybe asteroids which has the trajectory near the Earth. So it could affect the climate as well. But this thing, the climate change, refers to the long term. Like for example, we have experienced the weather, the hotter weather getting hotter and hotter, and especially maybe last 2 months, yeah, when we haven't had any rain. But thankfully, we are so happy that we already starting to enter the rainy season now. All right. So actually, since 1800s, human activities have been the main driver that promotes the climate change. So it's not about the external factors, it's not about the environment anymore, but it's mostly the human activities which cause the climate change. Next, please. Right, so for the example, the clear example is the burning of fossil fuels. Can I just ask you, anybody who biked to the campus? You bike to the campus. Awesome. You mean bike, right? Bicycle. Motorcycle. Okay. Anybody who use motorcycle to the campus? I don't believe it. Maybe almost all of us. All right. I should change the question. Anybody who walk to the campus? Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Anybody? All right, 6. Walk to the campus. Maybe you live just 100 or 200 meters away from the campus. That's good. But I think most of us, either we bike, not bike using bicycle, but motorcycle, or we drive the cars, or any kind of vehicles that use fossil fuels. That means congratulations, we contributed to the climate change. It is inevitable in our daily life unless we have electric motorcycles maybe, or electric cars, which is very expensive. And I don't know, but I think the least expensive, I think the least expensive electric cars is around 200 million. So, with the subsidy from the government. So 200 million rupiah is around maybe 15,000 US dollars, I guess, around 15,000 US dollars. So it's still very expensive for us, right? You can go to the Hajj or Umrah with that amount of money. Right, so using gasoline for our motorcycle, for our cars, and maybe not the second one, coal for heating a building, because we live in a tropical country. We are not using the heaters, mostly we use air conditioner, which is also the electric comes from the power plant that use fossil fuels. That's the problem. And also the agricultural activities, which produces greenhouse gases. Anybody knows what greenhouse gases are? Anybody? Yes. What are they? Just mention 1 or 2 or 11. Yes. What are the gases considered as greenhouse gas?
Carbon dioksida, metana, nitrogen dioksida.
Now, give applause. Yeah, that's right. See, carbon dioxide, we breathe in, we breathe out. We also produce carbon dioxide. So in order to avoid climate change, don't breathe out. Just breathe in. It's impossible, of course. And methane. What do you think? What methane comes from? Did we breathe out methane? Unfortunately not. Yeah. Fortunately, no. Yeah, not us. But the cattle does. Next, please. Right. So there's an interesting article I found on the internet, right? Which is bigger methane source? Is it the cows belching? You know what belching is? Burping. Like if you drink soda and then you burp, something like that. That is called belching. Or cow flatulence. You know what flatulence is? Should I demonstrate what flatulence is? A passing gas through the back of our body, which has quite smelly odor. Fart. Kentut. Aduh. Maybe we don't realize, but cow does fart. Cows does fart.
How
yes. Yeah, that's a problem. I've tried to find out how it sounds, but I've never been able to find out when the cows fart. So I think we need to do more or longer observations. But an interesting thing based on this article is that actually it's not when the cows fart, but it's when the cows burping or belching. That produce more methane. You know why? It is because of the internal physiology, especially the digestive system. We know that cows has 4 stomach, right? The rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. And especially in the rumen area, the cows, you know what cows eat? Sapi makan apa? Hah? Masa nasi padang? Exactly. So whatever the cows eat, it will be processed in the rumen, in the stomach, and then not only the bacteria, also the protozoa or any kinds of microbes there will produce the methane as a byproduct, and it will be released in the open air. That's why it contributes, I forgot the number, but it is very significant percentage of the methane in the environment. So you know what's the basic characteristic of methane? If you want to know, then you can observe when the cows fart or when the cows belch, and then you can light up a match. Nyalakan korek, ya kan? Light up a match, and you will see that the fire is blown. So that's the indicator of the methane presence. Can you imagine how many, or I don't know, what's the total population of cow in Indonesia, if they farted together at the same time? Maybe our country will be blown up due to the amount of methane. Right. Next one, please. And interestingly, there's a research. I don't think this is a new one. It's not, because I read the paper in 1995. And it's been published for quite some time, and it is still being a trend. How to reduce the methane content in the cows by manipulating the cow's feed. So I didn't read the whole paper, but one of the article and the paper I read was just to reduce the number of the protein around 10%, and then mix with special made of the pellets or the concentrate. It will reduce the methane concentration in the cow without reducing the milk quality. Because of course, farmers, they want to increase the quality of the milk from the cow. But the side effect is, if they didn't modify the cow's feed or the cattle feed, it will also produce high number of methane. So we can modify the cow's feed. Next one. All right, so climate change is a real threat to human well-being and of course to our health. So we have been talking about the increase of the temperature in our daily life, and it can seriously affect our health directly or indirectly. But yeah, the consequences is not only to the our health itself, but also to the environment, which eventually affects our overall health, including not only the physical health, but also the mental health. I will show you in a minute. Next one, please. All right, so we have been talking about the source of the pollution of the greenhouse gases, which contributes mainly to the climate change. And we always assume that by driving a car or riding a motorcycle, we burn the fossil fuel, we burn the gas, we create an unhealthy environment. But actually that only contributes lower significant amounts, yeah, to the climate change. But in majority, the sector that produces much more pollution, which contributes eventually to the climate change, is the industrial area. So anyone who lives next to the factory, you might want to consider to move to another part. But it's not that easy, the problem, right? So actually, it needs regulation from the government to make like a solid plan for the industrial area to be separated from the residential areas and the offices as well. Maybe in theory it's true, yeah, but in reality sometimes it doesn't really implement it in the field. Next one, please. All right, so we are now talking about the direct impact on the human health. As you can all see in the diagrams here, apart from the environmental aspects or social behavioral aspects, there are the climate change directly affected to the health outcomes. For example, the heat-related illness or the cardiopulmonary illness, and also the vector-borne diseases up to the mental health consequences for the human being. Next one. All right, so I'm gonna talk a bit more about the heat-related illnesses. And maybe some of us has already experienced this, but maybe we just don't realize it. And some of the symptoms are so serious that you need to seek medical attention. If you experience only light symptoms, which doesn't really affect you from doing your daily activities, maybe it's okay. But if you feel that it's getting worse and worse, you need to seek medical attention. Right, for example, is heat stroke. You know what heat stroke is, right? You know, a patient with a stroke, usually it comes from the ischemic stroke, or it could be hemorrhagic stroke, which has the bleeding on the, on the brain. But it's not the case. This one comes from the exposing to significant amount of the heat. You can be confused. You can be confused of yourself and then passing out. That can happen. If that case is happening, then you really need to seek medical attention, or you need to help other people who are experiencing it. And then heat exhaustion. Maybe the degree is a bit lower compared to the heat stroke. So this is like feeling extremely tired or fatigued due to the heat. And I bet this affects us almost every day, especially if you are exposed to the heat during the day. Yeah, and we are so lucky because like if you, for example, it will take you like 1 hour or maybe just half an hour of motorcycling from your place to the campus. Yeah, maybe it's quite a long time, but whenever you get to the campus, you get inside and the cold weather, or from the aircon of course, it will lower our internal temperature. So we are protected from the heat exhaustion if we are staying inside. Yeah, so we need to lower down our temperature. And then the next one, please. All right, heat cramp, sunburn, heat rash. I'm not gonna be very details on this because we have time constraint here. But like the sunburn, you know what sunburn is, right? So my suggestion is always, whenever you have outdoor activities, just please use the sunscreen. Use the sunscreen, yeah. But the problem is, because we have the obligation to pray 5 times, in the daylight, for example, at zuhur time, and then you go for ablution, taking wudu, right? And then after finishing offering a prayer, you can reapply the sunscreen. It will protect you against the heat exposure, especially from the sun. Because what's really dangerous is the UV rays, right? The ultraviolet rays. from the sun. Next one, please. All right, so the other impacts of the climate change into the human health is the air quality. And of course, it will directly affect the cardiopulmonary diseases or cardiopulmonary issues. And of course, the vector-borne disease. Next one. So how does air pollution affect the lungs? This is pretty much due to the air pollution. So like air pollutants, the small micropollutants in the air, because we are experiencing when we don't have enough rain in the last almost 3 months, the air is so dry and the dust are everywhere and the dust get trapped, and when you inhale, when you breathe in, then you can start to feel like something, the dirt gets inside to the lungs. And then it can suddenly makes you coughing. That is the direct effect of the air pollution. Next one. All right, so this is the air quality index. I'm sure you have understand about this. You are familiar with this, but which one do you think our air quality index now? How do you know? If you want to find out, just Google it, or more better, you can just type in AQI, Air Quality Index, in Yogyakarta. I just did it. And next one, please. So this morning, the level is good. You know why this happens? And we are very thankful for that. This is because we have experienced rain last night. Yeah, so rain is really good to clean up the air pollutants. Next one, please. All right, so what about the vector-borne disease? As you all have been aware, the vector-borne disease is a disease transmitted by vectors. What are the vectors? Sir Thomas has previously mentioned about the dengue, malaria. Anything else other than dengue, malaria? Viral disease. Oh, thank you. I still have 5 more minutes. I thought it was 5 more hours. So like other viruses, how can viruses emerge due to the climate change? One of the theory mentioned that the lower or increased temperature, so it could be decrease or increase of temperature, can activate some kinds of viruses, but mostly the lower temperature, because we are living in the tropical countries. So the deforestation process, we previously have so many forests, yeah, but now it's being cut down, and some of the theory mentioned that pathogens which were previously trapped in the forest could be released. So this is also happening not only to the climate change, but to the act of deforestation itself. All right, next one. All right, so how's the mitigation? Of course, we have to reduce greenhouse gas emission. How we do that? Well, we can use renewable sources, as I previously mentioned, diet modification for the cattle, and of course, the building resilience for us is to prioritize the use of nature-based solution. For example, like wetland restoration, forest conservation is the most important thing here. As we know, we have one of the highest biodiversity in the world after Brazil. So the next one is promoting sustainable practices, so renewable energy, and this requires the government policy as well. But as an individual, at least, we can reduce the greenhouse gases effect. Next one. All right, so the conclusion, climate change could pose adverse effect in our health. That's why it is being the most concern for us. And this is, again, for the call to action, as we can adapt and mitigate this adverse effect. And last one. All right, thank you very much. Stop genocide and free Palestine. Thank you.
Stop genocide and free Palestine. It's like what happening in titik nol Yogyakarta on Sunday. Stop genocide and free Palestine. Thank you, Mr. Irfan. Once again, big applause to Mr. Irfan. Mr. Thomas, this is to show the quality of our teachers. Our teacher in UAD is very capable in delivering in English, like Pak Irfan. And one of them, the other are the same as Pak Irfan. Yeah, I mean, especially in English, especially in biology education department. Okay, I mean, yeah, to be international reputable study program. All right, thank you. We already finished with 2 speakers, and now time for discussions and Q&A sessions. We have 20 minutes. Actually, it should be 25, but we limit our time, so we have 20 minutes for opening discussions. Everyone, if you have any questions or opinions or feedback, you can raise your hands. Wait a minute, I know, keep your passion, please. We need 3 questions, 3 feedback first. Say your name and please give your feedback directly to the point without any lengthy background. Okay, prologue, I mean. Okay, please say your name and deliver your questions or feedback directly. And to whom you address your question. Okay? Yeah. Yes?
Okay, I'm sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah. My name is Afia Tunur, and actually I'm not a student of UAD. Yeah, I'm an outsider, actually. So my upcoming question is addressed to Mr. Chukito. Okay. Before that, I really apologize as I arrived here late. Okay. So I didn't listen from the very first start actually. Though at the end of Sir Chukito presentation, I do notice something. If I'm not misheard, you said language in the term of climate change. Is it correct? Nah, so I'm really curious about it. Would you mind to explain about correlation between climate change and its impact towards on language development?
Enough?
Well,
Okay.
thank you. Yes, that's enough.
All right, thank you. Can you more specify in which outsider are you from? Are you from planet, this planet?
I'm sorry. I come from Unrio.
Unrio.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm an Unrio student.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, second question. Second question. Yes, please. Stand up and
I want to ask.
say your name, where you from, I mean your affiliation, university, and your direct questions, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Jenny Steven and I'm from Biology Education from Universitas Ahmad Dahlan. And my question is, in general, we know that increasing temperature is known as global warming, and it is stated, and also it's stated that human is the main cause to lead climate change. So my question is global warming and climate change the same, or is it different but related? And if it's compared, just how big of human role in leading climate change if it's compared to natural cause? And also I would like to know about the result after implementing the series of solution of climate change in Philippines and Indonesia. Right, so that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dan Swan. What's your name again?
Jenny.
Jenny. Jamie Stephanie. Yes, quite complicated for me. Right. Okay. Question number 3. Any? Question number 3? Oh, yes, please. Oh, wait a minute. Do you have any male students? Is all student of biology female? Yes? Yeah, I see a female. The only male one is the teacher. Pedro. The very rare entity. Okay. do we have question from male student? No, I think biology is domain for female, yeah? Long life female. Okay. Question number 3, please. Raise your hand. Okay.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke. I'm sorry. Before it, I wanna say sorry because I'm not fluent in English yet, but I'll do my best. Okay. My name is Ilmu Barokah. I'm from biology education. I wanna ask for to Sir Dokito about what contribution have been made by students in the Philippines to participate in tackling climate change, which is it can be our inspiration to do it too in here. Thank you.
Yes, the first opportunity will be given to Mr. Thomas to respond, and then after that, Mr. Irfan will also add and complete the information after Mr. Thomas. Do you want me to repeat the questions? Or?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. The first is from Aviatri or something like that. Okay. Would you please to explain about the relevance, the correlation between climate change versus the language? The language? Language development. The correlation between climate change and language development. No matter you say it or not, but it seems that she thinks you said that. Yeah. Okay,
but
so yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Number 2 is from
I will
Jenny.
answer the question. The first question first.
Okay, question
Okay,
first.
it's okay.
Right, one
It's
by
okay.
one. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so the language and climate change, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so yeah, there is a barrier between the language and delivering information when it comes to delivering information related to climate change. There is a barrier in terms of language, and one of the things that I've noticed as well, especially in the Philippines, if the students coming from the local areas, or shall we say the mountainous province, or what do you call municipalities and etc., wherein the language is different. When they go to our institution, it's very difficult for us to share to them what is climate change. And one of the things that our students, one of the thesis of my students, they created this educational kit wherein there is an interpretation when it comes to climate change. So, but actually, when we say language, there is a barrier in explaining what is climate change to them. So that is why, as for me, in addressing climate change, it should be localized. Localized at the same time, contextualized based on the real perspectives of those people living in that area in order to address that gap when it comes to language. So I guess it's okay. Okay, thank you.
And continue to second before Irfan is whether or not global warming the same as climate change. Irfan, you want to respond? Whether or not the global warming is the same or different from climate change. Yeah. Do you want to respond first and then by Irfan? Or by Irfan?
Okay, so me first.
Okay.
Okay, so the difference between global warming and climate change. So I guess there is a misconceptions about the differences or about the climate change and global warming. So when we say global warming, it is the increase of our temperature because of the different greenhouse gases that were introduced to our planet. Like for example, like what Miss mentioned a while ago, that there is a carbon dioxide, the methane, the different water vapor, and nitrous oxide, and even the ozone is one of those greenhouse gases. Now, these greenhouse gases can really affect our atmosphere, and because of this, there is, if the greenhouse gases will increase, there is a more hotter days, and we call that one the global warming. While the climate change, it is the long-term effect of those changes in our temperature. Like for example, for 10 years or 15 years, there is a mean or average temperature, and we get that one. So if the average or the normal temperature in that area deviates, then we can say that there is something, or there is changing in our climate. Like what we experience now, that most of the time is hotter days compared before. So sometimes it's not just warmer days, but cool days or colder days. Okay, so I guess that's the main difference.
Okay. Pak Irfan, can you respond on the questions of which one is more contributing as the causes of climate changes between the human and also the nature? Which one is more contributing? Or
All right, thank you for the question. And I think this is really important that we mentioned earlier that actually maybe before 1800 something, yeah. So is maybe before 19th centuries, it could be the environment which play more role on the climate change, because it's more like of the external factors, and we could understand that it wasn't the industrialized era, but when the industrialized era comes, so people activities to fulfill their needs are getting increase and increase. People are building houses, people are building factories, people are creating motorcycles, cars, which burn fossil fuels. And that's when that started the change of the human behavior. And we are nowadays using every day in our daily lives, using motorcycles, using cars, and the factories are operating every single day. So we are all contributing, we are all the main contributors of the global warming and, of course, eventually the climate change. So I hope that answers your question.
before, in the terms of comparisons, how you compare between the students' contribution in Indonesian situation, and next is in Philippine situations about the students' contributions.
All right, so I'm going to start with the maybe Indonesian case. Actually, in one of the slides in my presentation, there are, I guess, 7 contributors, big contributors of the climate change, 7 countries, and Indonesia is included in one of them. Of course, China, USA, India, and Indonesia as well. So I forgot the other 3 countries. But I guess because it is due to the number of population in Indonesia. You see, we have 270 million of people, and I don't know how many of us possess vehicles for our daily activities. But let's say if, like, I don't know, like 50%, so that means over 100 million of Indonesian people burn fossil fuels for their vehicles to do their normal activities. So I guess in this case, by just referring to the population, so I guess Indonesia contributes more to the climate change.
Okay. How about Philippine situation for contributions of the students toward the climate changes and anticipation? Do they have any moves or not?
Okay, so it's for the participation of students in terms of combating the climate change, or not just necessarily directly attributed to the topic climate change, but it's all about the environment. So in our basic education, like from grade 5 to senior high school, every school, especially in the public institution, there is a mandatory organization, which is Youth for environmental sustainability. I don't know the full name of that organization. And that organization somehow will create different programs, plans and programs in their school or in their community. And every year they have this competitions or seminars or trainings, not just in the local context, but also in the national area. So in the national context, so there is a convention among those organizations. In the higher education, every school, or I don't know if every school, but based on my observation, every school there is an organization. It's all about the environment. So like in our case, I'm the advisor of the science organization in our school. And what we did, we conducted different coastal activities like coastal cleanup, seminars, trainings in different areas, and we also conduct tree planting, mangrove planting, and many more. And in the out of school youth context, out of school youth context, it means these are those students, or not students, but teenager that somehow who drop out in the school. So different trainings as well and lectures were given by different local government unit in order for those youth to be updated in about the environment, especially those areas the areas, the protected areas in the Philippines. So the youth there plays a significant role in order to mitigate or at least to protect the area in that specific area or region.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you
Can I
want to
just
add something?
Yeah, just a bit more about I think this could be we need to raise more awareness for us about the climate change and what are the real action we can do. So I maybe would like to take this opportunity to propose or to underline, to emphasize to the students' body, especially, why don't you just make a real activity like maybe tree planting, whatever. Small step will make a huge difference. So in your program, you might want to put this into a priority, like a tree planting in a regular basis. Maybe not every day, of course, yeah? But maybe when you have a big event, you have a special event, why not you make a movement like a tree planting? Or, of course, you are very creative. You can create many similar programs or maybe even better programs. Thank you very much.
All right, take applause for everyone, for both of the speakers.
Thank you.
I regard your last statement as your final thought, yeah? So we don't have any more session for the final thought. It's very detailed and very enlightening information from the both speakers. I know maybe you still have abundant of questions, but so sorry because we have limited time. We have to finish we have to end the session soon. So if you feel unhappy and unsatisfied with the session and you want to ask more, you can address your questions to the emails, because Thomas doesn't have Instagram and also Twitters, yeah? So you can send the questions to email, sorry to say, just kidding. But Pak Irfan seems to have many followers, yeah? Okay. You can contact the head of the department, Bu Novi, to compile your questions, and Bu Novi will bridge it to Thomas, Mr. Thomas and Mr. Irfan to get the feedback. Okay, everyone, we come to the end of our session. Again, thank you so much for both of the speakers, Mr. Thomas and Mr. Irfan. Big applause for both of the speakers again for wonderful information. I remember one of the questions asked about the coherence between language development and climate change. I think it is a real proof. If you know, if you understand, if you can speak, and if you can interact in English, you will improve your understanding about climate change. That's the relationship. But if you don't understand about English and you cannot speak in English, maybe your information is not improving. This is the real coherence between climate change and the language development. Okay, and I cannot resume and sum up all of the information from both of them, but in the end I want to say two of the mitigations we can do are, the first is building social and students awareness toward the climate change. What's happening now is try to build your awareness. Are you already aware with the climate change? Yes, some of you, some are not, but at least we did it today. And the second is we invite the speaker from international. It is to bridging between, we need global cooperations. We need partnerships, international partnerships to together to fight against the climate change. And in the end is together we fight against the Walking Dead zombie. Okay, the conclusions, the alternative conclusion for our seminar today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all of the audience, thank you for listening. And for the last gift, I don't want to invite you to dance Taman Curug anymore. I know you are exhausted and thirsty, so I'm going to give you another gift from Indonesia, Mr. Thomas. This long pantun. The first is short pantun. The second is long pantun. The hooray groups, are you ready? Hooray groups? Okay, your job is to say cakep. Don't think about the words, but just say cakep. Ready? If you don't understand, just ask him about the translation. No, stay there, Pak. Ngumpulin sampah untuk membeli emas, biar bisa bekal ke Mekah menghadap Tuhan. Terima kasih untuk Pak Irfan dan Pak Thomas. Kita doakan semoga mereka menjadi Menteri Lingkungan Hidup dan Menteri Pertahanan. Biar bisa mengatasi masalah perubahan iklim ya. He looks happy, it means he 10% understand, 90% not. Okay, but it is about praying you to be Minister of Defense. You, Minister of Defense. Your army code is like Defense Minister, yeah. And also we pray Mr. Thomas to be the Minister of Environment, yeah, to solve the problems of climate change. Okay, thank you. And I have also the last greetings for Mr. Thomas. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Selamat sa presentasinya. Tak gabung-gabung ini ya. At Mangkaron Neng Magantang Horas sa Yogyakarta. Do you understand it or not? Understand, okay. You have problem with me if you don't understand it. Okay, thank you. And now let's close our meeting by reciting Hamdalah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. I am Rifai as the moderator. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next round in different occasion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I forget one thing is, can we have your materials, the PowerPoints, for our enrichment? Okay, can we access it from materials? Yeah, if you want to have the materials, you can access the committee. Okay. Now I give the time over to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much for our moderator, Mr. Nurifai Ahsan MED, and our speaker, Mr. Thomas Dikuitu, PhD candidate from University of Mindanao, Tigos, Philippines, and Mr. Irfan Yunianto, PhD from Ahmad Dahlan University.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is symbolic handling over of gift from Biology Education Department, Ahmad Dahlan University, to our speaker. Now, we invite again Mr. Thomas Diquito, PhD candidate, and Mr. Irfan Yunianto, PhD, as the speakers, and we ask to Dr. Novi Febrianti, MSI, to the stage to present and take pictures with our speakers. So please. And also maybe with our moderator. Okay. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. We have come to our last agenda today. I am Ahmad Maram Habibi and my partner
Nafa Naili Fauzia
as the
Master of Ceremony.
Would like to say thank you so much for your all attentions, and hopefully this event will be memorable for all of you today.
Nun wal kolami wa mayasturun.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.